NBA YoungBoy's latest songs have given the feds very interesting lyrics to look over. As we know, Quando Rondo and Lil Tim are the two individuals behind King Von's passing, and they are signed to NBA YoungBoy's music label, Never Broke Again. Around the time of King Von's passing, his beef with NBA YoungBoy was at an all-time high. King Von would constantly accuse NBA YoungBoy of lying in his music with his lyrics. This then escalated to NBA YoungBoy trying to get with King Von's ex-girlfriend, and vice versa. Ever since the passing of King Von, NBA YoungBoy didn't let up with the disses towards him. This even made Lil Durk get into it with NBA YoungBoy, as in the last week, Lil Durk released his new song, Aha. This new song featured sneak disses towards NBA YoungBoy that goes as followed. We've been sliding through they blocks and they don't know we have. Buddy got hit and we can't claim it, but I can show his. Guys acting like they're really like that since my Brody passed, King Von. Just got out the feds, you bring up my M's with your police. I told Vaughn to leave her alone, she post on the fans. Now these lines are clearly at NBA YoungBoy. As he mentioned, guys are really like that since my Brody passed. Now Lil Durk has already mentioned this before towards NBA YoungBoy. Durk previously wrote to YoungBoy saying, "Don't claim it if you ain't do it. You still a B, hashtag the voice." And even the line, I told Vaughn to leave her alone, she post on the fans, referring to one of NBA YoungBoy's ex-girlfriends, Janiyah, that King Von was talking to behind the scenes, which is what escalated the beef with NBA YoungBoy around a year ago. Now NBA YoungBoy was able to make a response to Lil Durk just 8 hours after the release of his song. NBA YoungBoy had lots to say about Durk and many other rappers in the industry. YoungBoy releases his song called I Hate YoungBoy. The lyrics goes as followed saying, "YoungBoy, they gon' get you, you better stop dissing them. Tell them guys, they know I ain't scared of them. How are you talking like nothing ain't gone but your cousin them? Quando got no filter, and he say that, they gonna get with them, clean up on aisle O, youngin' let that blow. A my brother let that stick blow, no that's mine, he called me a B, no that's India, that be yo girl." Now I had to change a lot of the lyrics, but you understand the point. These lyrics are clearly a response towards Lil Durk, as NBA YoungBoy mentioned his cousin Nooski, who sadly passed, and even says, clean up on aisle O, referring to the list of people now from O Block that have been sadly passing lately. Lastly, NBA YoungBoy mentions Lil Durk's wife India, calling her out for being a B. NBA YoungBoy has been going at Lil Durk for weeks now, as even 3 weeks ago NBA YoungBoy drops his single called Bring the Hook, which is very obvious who and what this song is about. In case you missed the lyrics, here's a quick breakdown, as these lyrics are clearly at late rapper King Von. It starts by saying, this that Squid Game, O Block pack get rolled up, M what they told us, Atlanta boy get fold up. Now King Von isn't from Atlanta, but he did sadly pass while in Atlanta. King Von ran into Quando Rondo, otherwise known as a rapper signed to NBA YoungBoy's label, at a club in Atlanta before sadly passing. Lil Durk was quickly to respond on his Instagram. Durk shared a photo and a caption saying, as I said earlier, don't claim it if you ain't do it, you still a B, hashtag the voice. As in this caption, Lil Durk is referring to NBA YoungBoy, telling him not to claim it that he's the one who did it to King Von. Don't claim something that you didn't do yourself, as NBA YoungBoy's friend Lil Tim is the one who did the act towards King Von, yet YoungBoy is acting as if he did it. But then it makes you wonder, what if NBA YoungBoy had something to do with it behind the scenes? As on November 6th, King Von was in Atlanta celebrating the release of his new album, Welcome to O Block. With the peak of his NBA YoungBoy beef going on, he was celebrating at a club, and many people that were with Von that night mentioned that he was not acting like himself. This could have been due to the fact that he was going back and forth with NBA YoungBoy on the phone, and he got word mid-party that Quando Rondo was at a different club nearby. King Von went to the club that Quando Rondo was at. One of King Von's boys then scouted out Quando Rondo, standing in the middle of the street, talking to somebody in a white SUV. King Von was then seen on video surveillance, hopping out of his SUV and walking into the middle of the street. King Von and his crew then quickly swarmed Quando Rondo, and a brawl then broke out. King Von and Quando Rondo were going at it in the middle of the street, with no firearms being used or anything. This was until Quando Rondo's best friend Lil Tim hops out of the white SUV, pulls out a firearm, and uses it to defend Quando in the brawl with Von. With the sound of firearms being used, Undercover cops that were just parked down the street started creeping up to the location. More firearms then started being used, and this is when the law enforcement took action and started lighting up the area. From those that were involved, they described the situation as a war zone going on in the middle of the street. Firearms were being used from all over the place, people were running behind cars, ducking for cover, and while this was all going down, King Von was still tied up with Quando Rondo right in the middle of the street. This was until King Von's best friend Muop quickly runs over to Von, knocks Quando Rondo out of the way, grabs King Von, and carries him to the getaway vehicle. Sadly, while in the getaway vehicle, they didn't get to the hospital fast enough, which sadly had King Von pass in the process. And moments after King Von's passing, once word broke out to social media, we then saw people from NBA YoungBoy's team dissing the passing of King Von. By saying a variety of things while on IG Live, you can most likely assume of what they said. Since that moment, NBA YoungBoy and Lil Durk have been beefing back and forth, as Lil Durk is not gonna let things like this go, with getting no revenge on NBA YoungBoy. Fast forward to present day. It was announced around 2 weeks ago that King Von will be releasing an album called What It Means to Be King on March 4th. Then out of nowhere, a week after that announcement, NBA YoungBoy and DaBaby then announced that they're releasing an album as well on the same day as King Von. And strangely enough, their album title is called Better Than You. You can most likely assume of what that album name is directed towards. It's obviously going to be about King Von. NBA YoungBoy and King Von's beef has been going on for years. There's a real reason as to why NBA YoungBoy was involved in the passing of King Von. Not only was it because the two guys signed to his label had basically done it to King Von, but at one point, before Quando Rondo signed to NBA YoungBoy's label, Quando Rondo and King Von were actually very close friends. They've been on Instagram Live together several times, and to even prove it, I'll show you in this photo right here. It wasn't until Quando Rondo signed to Never Broke Again on NBA YoungBoy's label, to which he had to pick a side, whether it was with NBA YoungBoy or King Von. Obviously, he chose the side of YoungBoy, which then makes him rivals with King Von. There's a complete breakdown of the history between NBA YoungBoy, King Von, and Quando Rondo. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it and don't forget to subscribe. It's been District Trending and I'm out. Peace.